Hey guys, it's Carrie. Within the past few days, I watched a video first from Vix at New Age Hipster. She did a spiritual favorites video, and then a few days later I saw a video from Kelly Ann at the Four Queens, and she did a witchy haul video. And I was having so much fun listening to these videos and listening to these guys just kind of geek out over this awesome stuff they have. And I thought, you know what, that sounds like fun. I want to get in on that action. So that's what I'm doing here today. I'm taking a page out of the books of these beautiful, lovely women, and I am going to share with you guys some just kind of odds and ends that I've purchased over the past few months. So first up, of course, I have a couple new stones. This one is pink tourmaline with lepidolite and quartz. I wasn't planning on getting anything like this. It was one of those classic occasions where you walk into the store and you're just drawn to the energy of this stone. To me, this stone has this almost otherworldly energy. It's almost like this stone can help you access different realms or, something super cool like that. It has this calm, peaceful energy to me. The colors are really beautiful. I love the purple and the little flecks of pink. And of course, it's always nice to have a stone that fits beautifully into the palm of your hand. This is a sugilite, and I had never heard of this stone before. I just really thought the colors were gorgeous. It almost looks like a desert sunset to me. It's nice and polished, and it's beautiful. It looks like somebody painted it. And so this was really one that I got based on looks and looks alone. I haven't really tried to look into the properties of this, so if you're watching this and you know anything about this stone, please feel free to share that information with me. A couple of pendants that I've recently obtained. This one, I have been wearing this almost every day since I got it. It's actually been several months. I think it was in April that I purchased this. I bought this at Venice Beach in California from a gentleman who makes them and sells them there on the beach. I just fell in love with this the second I saw it. It's a clear quartz down at the bottom and then tiger's eye up here. The wire wrapping is so gorgeous, and I just thought this was very unique. I'd never seen anything like this. I, again, have been wearing this pretty much every day, and I've come to associate this particular pendant with my core desired feelings. If you're familiar with Danielle LaPorte and the desire map process, long story short, the idea is you identify the ways that you want to feel and then make decisions through your life to help you align with those feelings. And I've come to kind of think of my core desired feelings being contained within this pendant. So wearing this is just a reminder for me to make decisions that will help me feel the way I want to feel. This little blue guy is a lapis lazuli, and I'm particularly proud of this one because I wrapped it myself. That's why it looks a little bit wonky, but you know what? It was hard for me to even get this wonky looking thing to come to fruition, so I am proud of the fact that I now have my very first pendant that I wrapped myself. I've been focusing a lot on my throat chakra lately, getting better at speaking, and so this is something that I wanted to have with me to help me remember that intention. By the way, the rug that I'm showing you everything on is also relatively new. It is covered in cat hair, so I hope that doesn't look too terrible in the video. But the next thing I want to show you, oh my goodness, I don't know, it's so hard to film these tiny little intricate things, but this is another pendant, and this was a birthday gift from my awesome sister. You probably can't tell, but it says on this kind of copper circle, write your own ending, and then the little trinket above it is this gorgeous antique looking typewriter. I like this because it ties into tarot for me. I think tarot can help us to write our own endings, and I'm also a fiction writer, so this speaks to me on multiple levels. It's a really cute little gift that my sister got for me on Etsy. I got these earrings in Muir Woods, which is just outside of San Francisco in California. I went there a few months ago and found these in the gift shop. I thought they were really magical and mystical looking. One is a sun and one is a moon, and I like to wear the sun on my right side and the moon on my left side. Okay, the next couple of things are maybe kind of silly and weird to show you, but whatever, it's my video, so I do what I want. This was also a gift from my sister, this Simply gum. I have been, for the past few years, trying to lean more and more into eliminating processed foods and eliminating weird chemicals from basically anything I put into body, cleansers, food, anything like that. And gum is something that is very hard to find an alternative that doesn't contain a bunch of weird shit. So I was actually really excited when my sister gave me this gum, and I like it quite a bit. It's very simple with the ingredients. It doesn't quite hit all the same notes as traditional gum, but I enjoy the flavor of fennel, and fennel has been used traditionally in a few different cultures to kind of cleanse the palate and work within the digestive system, so I think this is pretty cool stuff. And then this is some peppermint tea, and it is in a wooden box that I thought was particularly adorable. I found this in this really charming little local gift shop here, and I had to get it because not only do I really enjoy peppermint tea, but I figured once the tea has all been consumed, I can find something somewhere to display the box because it's pretty damn adorable. Next up, we have a storage box that is designed to look like a book, if you can tell. This is the second box like this that I've purchased, and I'll kind of show you. You just open it up and you can store things inside. My husband has a habit of leaving random papers and receipts and things all over the kitchen table, so I get these so that he has a place to store things and they're not just making our table look really ridiculous and cluttered. I really liked the crow or the raven in the design, and then kind of the winter scene and the monochrome colors with the grays and the blacks. These are just a really nice, visually appealing way to store little odds and ends. We have arrived at the smell good portion of our presentation. This is a cherry blossom incense that I got a few months ago, and I'd never heard of this particular type of incense, but again, it was just so visually appealing. Obviously, I'm a sucker for good packaging in a product. The colors are gorgeous, the box is really nice and smooth, and when I got home and lit the incense, I was happy to find out that I very much enjoy the scent. It's really pleasant, and I'd like to try some more of the same brand, some of the different scents that they make. I have a friend who lives in Oman, and she was recently back here in town for a visit, and she brought this to me and gave me this as a present. It is a kind of cute little holder in which you can place a coal, and then you light the coal, which I did earlier today, so there's the not super attractive remnants of this experience. And then in this bag is some frankincense. So I can put the frankincense right on top of the coal, and then the smoke has this beautiful, wonderful aroma of frankincense, which is really magical. So I really have been enjoying this awesome gift. Okay, next up is the Golden Tarot. Now, I believe there are two different decks that bear this title. This particular Golden Tarot is by Mary Packard. This I've had actually for quite a while, and I completely forgot about this one when I made the video and showed you guys my tarot deck collection. I'm pretty sure I left this one completely out of the video. This was also a gift. This was a gift from my father, randomly enough. He was scrolling through some kind of like mail order catalog that he'd received, and he told me he found a tarot deck in there, and so he asked if I wanted it, and I said sure. This is basically a restoration of the Visconti Sforza deck, which is I believe, the earliest known tarot deck that's in some order of completion still. There's still cards that you can see from this deck in various museums and collections. This probably isn't something that I'll ever really use for readings. It's more something I just wanted to have to study and to look at and to observe. It's just fascinating to think about the history behind this deck. It came with this little book, which is actually a pretty meaty book, and believe it or not, this is one of the better historical accounts of the history of tarot that I've come across. So if you're interested in the history of the deck, particularly the Visconti Sforza deck, this is something that I would definitely recommend. And now we have reached the artwork portion of our program. This is something that I just purchased actually as I am filming this. It was just yesterday. My husband and I drove up to Park City, which is a really charming little resort town just outside of where we live in Salt Lake City, and they had an arts festival going on up there. We got this from a gentleman, I believe if I'm reading it correctly here, his name is Michael Bond. He was born in England but now lives in Minnesota. We just fell in love with all of his art. We bought 2 pieces, so I'll show you the other one in a moment. This one is An English Country Garden, is what the title says. It just makes me want to go there and live in that house. I absolutely love that. This piece is by the same artist, and it is a landscape of the Highlands of Scotland. I was really cheering for this to be one that my husband and I purchased because the first trip that I ever took outside of the US was to Scotland, so I have a lot of fond memories of that, and I would love to go back there someday. It's absolutely just a gorgeous, magical place. Okay, this is the second piece that we also purchased at the arts festival. I'm trying to show you, it's quite long. This has this really kind of like steampunk feel to it that I enjoyed. It's quite different than most of the artwork that I currently have in my possession, but there was something so intriguing about it. I found it really inspiring. I am kind of a sucker for the steampunky feel. Over here, kind of on the edge of the painting, you might be able to tell there's just this faint imprint of an astrological wheel. And then it has these words down here that say, "We may have forgotten how to fly, that doesn't mean we can't. Today is a new dawn." I can't remember the name of the artist off the top of my head, but if anyone is curious, you're welcome to leave me a comment and I'll find the business card and let you know. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the final portion of our program today, which will be the book portion. I have been reading this book for so many months. I can't even honestly tell you how many months, and that's because I have a not so amazing habit of trying to read way too many books at one time, and then I'll kind of put one aside and forget about it, which keeps happening with this book. I want to find the time to dive back into this because I am enjoying this book immensely. I am a big fan of Martha Beck. I think she is so wise and she taps into so many things that people need to hear. She delivers wisdom in a way that taps into a lot of ancient knowledge, but she makes it very accessible and fresh. This book, as you can see, the title is Finding Your Way in a Wild New World, Reclaim Your True Nature to Create the Life You Want. My humble opinion is that the title is not extremely appropriate. When you look at the contents of this book, essentially it's made up of 4 sections where she talks about what she refers to as the 4 technologies of magic. And the 4 technologies of magic are wordlessness, oneness, imagination, and forming. I think that the 4 technologies of magic would have been a much more appropriate title for this book, but I wonder if maybe a publisher or something thought that would kind of turn people off, which is really too bad. This, I think, is an amazing handbook for anyone who is interested in magic and interested in manifestation, but want something that comes from a really grounded, modern, practical perspective. I'm definitely someone who reads a lot of what you could call self-help books. I prefer to call them personal growth books. You're a lot more likely to find me reading a personal growth book than an occult book or a witchcraft book or anything like that. But I think that this particular book taps into a lot of themes of magic and that kind of thing. And here is the last part of our program today. Understanding the Birth Chart in Astrology, a comprehensive guide to classic interpretation by Kevin Burke. This was something I purchased for myself as a birthday present. I've been interested in astrology for a really long time. In fact, I was interested in astrology before I even started learning tarot, but it's something that always seems so overwhelming when I think about starting to study it and starting to work with it. So I've really just kind of dabbled in the very edges of the pond and haven't gone in very deep. This is the first actual book I've got for myself that's dedicated to learning astrology, and I picked it because it seemed really digestible to a beginner. I didn't want something that was going to feel too overwhelming and scare me away right off the bat. That's how I ended up with this one. And again, because I have this really terrible habit of reading way too many books at once, I haven't progressed too deeply into this book, but I'm very glad that I have it, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to reap more of the wisdom within. That is it for now. Thank you for watching and listening and observing all of my precious, beautiful things here. I appreciate you stopping by. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel and go ahead and visit me on my website, which is happyfishtarot.com. I put up blog posts every week, so I'm writing a lot more regularly than I'm making videos. Thank you, and I will talk to you before too long. Bye.